All right, we're going to dive right into this real estate market analysis here in 2026. You've heard quite a bit of rumors. You've been watching the news. You're getting your information, and we want to validate that information. So, what has happened January 2026, and how are we going to compare that to 2025? Let's take a quick look here. If you want to jump on in here, first thing we notice, we've closed 1,825 properties here in January, and that's down just about 4%, which is quite interesting. We had some winter weather, and most people are saying that's what's affected our closing. So we had to carry over about 200 to 300 properties over into this February. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at some graphs here in just a minute. But the median home price is 485,000 and some change, 486,000. Uh, Active inventory right now is around 11,785. 65 days on the market. That's up, or down like 6%. So condos are running around $350,000. Now, that is condos in the greater Nashville area. Um, Maybe we should do another, some more research on just the condos downtown Nashville. That might give us a more accurate view because when you think condos and you think Nashville, you're thinking about the ones downtown. But there are so many that's been built 30, 40, 50 years ago. And, they typically do not perform like like the the homes do. So let's dive right on in here. So our market overview here. So we're going to look at 2023, 2024, and 2025. And this is January, February. And of course, we went through January, and the February has not been released because we are still in February. So if you could take a look here, you can obviously notice a slight, or, incline in home closings year over year. That's great news. Now we're going to look at the home median price. This is kind of good and bad. It's It ranges from like 2023 from 430,000 and it kind of rises. And then it looks like we dipped down here to 2026 at $485,000. So just looking at that, now we don't have all the numbers in because 200 to 300 uh, houses have carried over to February. So when they close in February, it's going to kind of jack up some numbers. Like this might be down, and then February, when those numbers come in, might be higher than expected because of the carryover. Active inventory, you can see a steady climb. That's going to ensure us that we are still in the buyer's market. January closings by property type. You can tell here the residential slightly dropped from last year to this year in January. Condos, slight drop. Multifamily stayed the same. Farms are, slight increase. So the inventory by property type. So we got about 7,800 single family homes, 2,000, about 2,100 condominiums, 115 multifamilies. But here's where it gets interesting. This is going to tell us about the performance of Nashville and surrounding counties. Now, what you're what you're going to understand here is that we're going to look at different zip codes, and these are in Davidson. Some of them are just outside of Davidson. So let's get started. Overall, you can notice different zip codes have climbed 5%, an average of 3 to 5%. And then you have some outliers around 7.9. Here's Spring Hill, Williamson County. That's going to be south of Nashville, Tennessee. And um, East Nashville, that's kind of surprising here. East Nashville, a drop of 4.2%. So, and this is the detailed so what this zip code analysis is a detailed sales volume, median price, and price per square foot. Days on the market, basically just kind of giving us an overview of what each zip code did. And so as you look right here, this is going to be your sales. And by the way, if you want this if you want this report sent to you, just give me a shout and we'll get it over to you. But we can take a look here and you can see different zip codes have done, you know, let's go ahead and look at the top performers here. Top performers, Antioch. Number one thing here is budget friendly. We're going to get into budget friendly cities here just a little while. 37209, that's going to be West Nashville, the nation's Sylvan Park, beautiful area. That is one of the top performers. Um, Notice that 42 days on the market on average in Antioch, and now we start dropping down into like 37207, 52 days. Let's take a look at the median prices here. 410, 345. We're going to get more into this information in a breakdown. But the top performers are listed above with the with Goodlettsville, Tennessee, uh, not performing so well. We'll take a look. 53 days on market on average. Now I just sold my house in Goodlettsville, and I got a contract within 45 days. It's probably one of the harder ones to sell in the Davidson County. It had 5 acres, lots of things I loved about the house, sitting on the hill, but you know, anyways. So let's look at the ones that are declining. So 37206, that is in East Nashville. It's dropped 4.2% as far as performance. Look at the Gulch. Man, these are big cities that expensive properties over there. Both East Nashville and the Gulch taking a dive. Oh my goodness. 88 days in the Gulch. Now we're going to take a look at why the Gulch properties went down. And I'll throw out something right now. Condos are in the Gulch. So we'll understand that a little bit more later. But look at East Nashville, a drop. Green Hills, Hillsboro Village, downtown core. Wow, look, downtown core. Look at this right here. 95 days on the market. That is insane. Oh, wow. So these are the declining zip codes. 372. I cannot believe these are thriving. These are big money places right here that are thriving. Some of our budget friendly zip codes, Antioch is performing well. 42 days on the market. The median is 391. We're going to look at square foot, price per square foot, and things like that in our next little deal here. But you can tell, look at Gallatin, 46 days on the market, priced at 385. Gallatin, Tennessee is sitting in Sumner County. One of the coolest things about Gallatin, Tennessee is the food, the shopping, and things like that. Beautiful area up there. They've got a square. If you ever, I don't know where you're from, but if your town doesn't have a old city square, man, it just spells home for you. Uh, let's keep looking here. Smyrna. So the cool thing about Smyrna, what you're gonna like about Smyrna, and we're gonna look more into that. Smyrna, Laverne, that area. It is close to Antioch, but it's outside Davidson County. This is the coolest thing in the world. And the reason why that it is so cool is because you get the benefits of Davidson County without the high property taxes. That's exactly right. Oh, let's touch on Hermitage. Hermitage, beautiful place near or up against Old Hickory Lake if you like boating, things like that. Wow. And I compare Hermitage to Hendersonville. They're across the lake from each other. Hermitage, you got access to two lakes. You got Percy Priest. That's really nice. And it's Hermitage is close to Mount Juliet. So top 10 zip codes by 2025 sales volume. So that's the entire year of 2025. Antioch, we touched on that. The Nation, Southern Park, that is West Nashville. Beautiful place. Creve Hall, 37211. You'll notice that 37211 and some of these others like Antioch and Antioch also shares the 37211 zip code and the 37013 zip code as well. That's Antioch's a big place. There's a lot of people there. There's a lot of new developments over there as well. Lots of price ranges over there. It's very interesting. So let's continue. Bellevue, beautiful place. Mountains, hills. If you love that kind of thing, uh, North Nashville, Whites Creek. It's in Davidson County. A lot of new development and growth going on in there. Franklin, Franklin West, and I see Franklin East down here. And Laverne and Smyrna. There we go. So top 10 zip codes by 2025 sales volume. And Antioch just keeps showing up. This is the funniest thing because in 20 or 20, 30 years, if you've lived here, you would wonder why Antioch is booming. And I'll just tell you one pretty good reason is the prices are have witnessed a low point, but people have moved in. The younger generation are moving in over there, and they're putting money into those houses, and they're rebuilding that little town from the ground up. And there's new development. I mean, it's just crazy. It's beautiful down there. So let's take a look at the price range analysis. So not all segments are performing equally. When you look at 300,000 and below, those are, cash deals and different loan things for that. But when you look at 300 and below, it is hard to find under 300. So just to be straight honest with you, there are some places if you can be flexible about where you want to live at as far as being away from things. But anyways, let's jump right back in here. So just looking at the $300,000 selling very fast. 300 to 500, still pretty fast. We'll get over 500, we're getting into situations here. And then when you drop to 1 million, it's very slow. So inventory by price range, I believe we talked about this, but there's inventory that's under 300,000, not a whole lot. 350, 3 to 500 is the highest. And I think these people right here are just kind of like not putting their homes on the market. They take the biggest loss right now if they had to sell. And the average days on market, we've covered that. Over $1 million could be 80, 90 days. 300,000 is not so bad. So value comparison. So 37027 is Brentwood. Um, Brentwood is south of Nashville. It's it's at the border of Nashville, but I believe that's where Williamson County is going to start. And very beautiful, luxurious homes, and the whole city is that way. The police, everything is stepped up in that area. Probably one of the best areas to live in. You would pay about 60% more living expenses in that area. Green Hills is right up there with them. And you look at the median price of a 2,200 square foot home, 1.3 million. But you drop down here to Gallatin, 2,200 square foot home, you get for 375,000. Totally different areas, but you can see the range. So the interest rate impacted by price segment, that's interesting. 30-year fix, um, 3 to 500,000 and below, not really affected that much. Still moving, still expensive, but they're not flinched. 5 to 700, 700 to a million, and over a million. Definitely more affected. More money, higher expenses. That you know the deal on that. So budget friendly cities and zip codes. So we kind of went over this, so we're just going to make this quick. Antioch, Goodlettsville, these are opposite ends of Davidson County, Madison. So if I could draw a line like Goodlettsville, Madison, Old Hickory, jump over Percy Priest, to Donaldson and Gallatin are all on the same side of town. Antioch, Percy Priest, and see, this area is on the opposite side of Donaldson. And Smyrna and Murfreesboro, those are all kind of on the same area of town. So they'd be more southeast. And so Spring Hill, Spring Hill, that is just going to be south. So if you're looking at Franklin and Brentwood and you realize those places are a little bit too much for you, Spring Hill, Columbia, and those kind of areas um, would be one of the most budget friendly zip codes if you want to be on the south side of Nashville. So where can the buyers get the best deal? And we kind of touched on that, but Rutherford County, Smyrna, Laverne, and Murfreesboro, I'm telling you, property tax a lot lower down there. Um, and Antioch. Antioch, that's a good deal, but property taxes are still going to be high. Sumner County is outside of Davidson County. Property taxes are going to be better. Spring Hill and Murray County, beautiful, beautiful towns out there. Property taxes are lower out there. So getting a good deal, but you also could save more if you pick the places that can lower your property taxes. So where are people moving from and some of the people that are moving out? We're gonna we're gonna take a look at that. So people coming in, Chicago, Illinois, LA, California, New York, Atlanta, these are some of the hottest spots right here of people moving to Nashville, Tennessee, and then people leaving are going to Knoxville, Chattanooga. That's so funny. Most of these spots right here are Tennessee, still going back to Tennessee, Florida, and Texas. And that looks like a list for retirees. I'll be honest. But Texas, I know that's pretty down there, but oh, I don't know. Austin, Dallas, I don't know. Maybe I'm not educated on that area yet, but so what are the buyers looking for? So when we are moving to Nashville, Tennessee, and this might help you out when you're buying your house, what are you looking for? Does your list look like this? I would probably tend to I would want to look at a list like this if I was going to buy a house here. So top rated district schools, um, proximity to employers, walkable neighborhoods, home office, flex space, outdoor space, garages, what's houses, um, open floor plans, proximity to parks and greenways, low HOAs, and to no HOAs. HOAs is it's basically homeowners association if you're not familiar with that. So what that does is govern a little segment. Let me see if you can see my hands. There we go. It governs just a little segment of town. Basically, excuse me. So basically, like if you were moving to a subdivision is just like a cookie cutter area built by one or two builders, developed, houses kind of look the same, yada, yada, yada. So they form a party of people to regulate and dictate kind of the rules like grass getting too tall or keeping your yard clean, no sheds kind of thing. Basically, keeping everything uniform and clean. So that's their job. Some people love them, some people hate them. They can be good and bad. So, builder activity and new construction. Okay, so in the situation we're in, when the interest rates go up and builders are kind of stuck on inventory. And so a lot of times they'll get creative on helping a buyer buy one of their homes. And so if we look at some of these companies, so what they'll do is do some buy downs with the mortgage and, you know, help with closing assistance, free up upgrades, kind of sweeten up the deal a little bit to help get off of their inventory. It's quite a bit of new construction inventory. Condo markets. So this is quite interesting. January of 2026, the condo closings were right at 240. That's down about 15% from this time, as far as January. Condo inventory is pretty high, and the median price of 350,000 on a condo is about where you might be at. Now, average day on the market is 78 days. There's a lot of reasons for that. We won't get into that today. And the demand status is declining. So all this is interesting. What's going on with the Nashville condos that is making this in a declining mode? We'll, I'm sure I'm going to touch on that in another video. How are sellers working with buyers? So just like sellers, there's a bunch more sellers than there are contractors, but the seller understands he's kind of like the contractor. He's fighting for the buyer. So a lot of times the seller is going to jump in and do some incentives as well. Uh, First of all, when you're selling, if you're not competing with the price, you just checked yourself out of the ballgame. But closing cost assistance, you need to be aware that a lot of sellers are doing that. Rate buy downs. This is just like um, what the builders are doing. Pre-listing inspections. Man, I would do that. If I was going to get my house ready, I would do a pre-listing inspection, give me the feel of what's going to happen. because no buyer is going to step into a house with a lot of problems and have to jump on that right away. Professional staging, very important. It's probably worth the money if you're trying to get out from underneath your house, and being flexible with closing timelines. So don't, you're sticking to that 30-day kind of thing, and it may not work for some buyers, or you might need a fast close. Be ready for that. So, what is the market? What is the market outlook for 2026? Now, there's a lot of people that's got an opinion about this, and it just depends on where you get your information. And people are going to talk, and you may agree or not agree, but um, we're basically stable right now. We're going to be in a modest appreciation. Some are saying 1 to 3%. A lot of people are leaning 4% and above, slightly above. So, you know, but no one really knows what the market's going to do. Uh, One thing we can understand is Williamson County. Now, we've been talking about Williamson County. That's going to be your um, Brentwood, Franklin, Columbia, Spring Hill area. Um, we can understand that they're probably going to outperform everything else as prices expect to go up like 13%. Builder incentives will continue to go. Um, Affordable markets, strongest performance. We've already been talking about this. Antioch, Hermitage, Gallatin, Rutherford County. Sales volumes under 400 or in a range to 500,000 maybe. So Zillow, projections, it's kind of right in line, 2%. Knoxville, Chattanooga, kind of, everybody's kind of the same. Knoxville's doing pretty good. Risk right now, what could affect this market? I would say, uh, if the interest rate goes up, you know, it could be a mess. So, economic slowdown, a recession, things like that. Condos oversupplied, rising property taxes as assessments catch up to 2021, 2023 price surge, insurance costs. These are things that could affect the market for us. But there's a lot of positive indicators. Nashville still remains top 10 in migration destination in the United States. No state income tax, um, definitely attracts so many people. Williamson County prices are going to go up 13%. We talked about that. Inventory is rising. Buyers buyers have choices. Builders incentives are still climbing. Interest rates are trending downward so far. Nashville delivers Nashville's economy is pretty good. I mean, a lot of this report focuses, a lot of things I've been reading to put this report together. Uh, we talk about a diversified economy. So, and that's very interesting. And we're, they're talking a lot about healthcare, tech, and things like that. But I'm concerned, and I'm talking about the plumbers, the landscapers, and stuff like those are my guys. I'll be honest with you. And I don't really find a lot of that information, but they're in high demand down here, and there's a lot of work, a lot of overtime. So, is Nashville crashing or is it correcting? That's the question. And if you got the answer, why don't you chime down and put in crashing or correcting? And that will let me know that you stayed to the end of this video. And I really appreciate you hanging out with me. And look forward to our February video. Where we will be doing an analysis on February. Probably the first week of March, we'll have that video up and ready.